Legion TD2 spells. So hopefully this helps pretty much anybody that's played or playing the game. I know a lot of people are new here from the free to keep weekend-ish time from Epic for the game. So welcome everybody that's new. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out all my other Legion TD2 content. We just did one with all of the fighters, the whole Legion TD2, all of them, and then we just did one with all of the masterminds as well for hopefully new players wanting to spend their essence on different ways to play to choose correctly. But today we have all of these spells, so once you get past wave 10, if you survive that, it will give you an option of 3 of these in general, so we will go over them. I think the best one, and please forgive me, way ahead of time, I forget a lot of these names, honestly. It's just, I know their picture way better than I know their names. I know what they do way better than I know their names as well. But, believe this is Iron Fist. I could be fucking wrong. But this one is honestly probably the strongest in the game. Just having, whoever tanks the most damage, takes the most damage, they get bonus every single wave, whoever it is. So you can obviously have somebody that might be massively stacking these stacks, and it does stack, or you know, some waves it might be one or the other person. It doesn't take away, it will just stack the one from one wave, whoever it is the next wave, and keep stacking. So this only makes your units better and better and better. So it's super nice, super helpful. I do think the plus income here is always super nice. Having more income, especially later in the game, is always helpful. And definitely gives you a nice little boost there. I do think press the attack is pretty decent. I'm going to give it an A. It's only 70 Mythium, which around wave 10, that's definitely not like a bad extra push for sure. But it's also not, you know, a whole lot. But I do think it's solid. I think it's a solid choice if you are, you kind of need some Mythian boost and you're getting ready to push soon, or are sending that wave, meaning 11. But it's it's a solid choice, I think, for sure. Embargo, I'm going to put an A2. I think, obviously, if you're in a good spot to choose Embargo and, you know, you are confident you can survive the next few waves without gaining any income, then Embargo is huge. I think it's nice to be able to get a huge benefit later after a few more waves, especially depending on what you have chosen as your play style as well. You know, if you have castle, then you go embargo, you kind of balance that a little bit. So things like that can definitely boost embargo, but it does put you in a little bit of a hard spot for a few waves, but usually it's worth it. Magician, I'm going to put in B. I think obviously it's only useful if you're running a relatively large mana build, or if you have a decent amount of mana units. Even if you just have like one and you're just massively building that, I think it can still be good depending on who that unit is. But I think Magician is one that they're constantly messing with, trying to like make it viable compared to some of these others. But again, it's obviously only viable if you have the right amount of mana units to where it's useful. Guardian Angel I'll put in B2. I think it, honestly I gotta put a Guardian Angel in C. I think it's just pretty bad. Yes, it's nice to revive whoever you revived, but it's, they don't even get revived a lot, and overall 9 times out of 10 it's not going to save you, you know, especially if you're doing somebody that's like a tank that you're wanting to stay alive and then come back. You know, yes, it can be useful. Yes, sometimes it can save the wave, but overall, especially late game, it's not going to save you, and that's how I feel about Divine Blessing as well. Obviously, it is a massive boost to that one unit, but more than likely, eventually, like you're pretty much guaranteed that that unit is going to die eventually, and especially if they die very soon after you give them, excuse me, Divine Blessing, it's just, it was basically worthless, honestly. So I don't think it's worth it at all. Um, let's see, Pulverizer. I think Pulverizer might be an S. I think if you put it on the right person, the amount of stunning and everything can that unit can do is super nice. I think a minimum is an A. I wouldn't necessarily argue putting it in A, but it's definitely up there. It's a very good choice for no matter who you put it on. So it's worth it to me. Um, Giant Snail, I'll put in B. I think it does have usefulness sometimes, um, but overall it's kind of like you just get way more value for the 20 Mythium you're going to get by sending snails, but overall it's still not going to be worth it, especially the later the game goes to send that many, because there's obviously still better units than a giant snail. Again, I'll put it in B. I think it does have its usefulness. I wouldn't necessarily argue too much if you wanted it in A, but I'm gonna put it in B. I think it's okay. Um, Getting a little bit of extra gold, I'll put in A. I mean, sometimes you just need it, um, but that's really all it does. That gold's gonna go away super quick, but sometimes that little boost can definitely help you rebalance out if you're behind in some workers, or you're behind on fighter value a little bit, or you really need an upgrade or something like that. That can definitely be okay. Lizard Army and this little turret army basically are the same. I don't think either one are super useful. Again, I think there's time and place for them, especially if you know you're going to be sending the waves after 10 or up to them. I think they both go to 13. So um, that's really the only reason why you would use them. I think usually those next waves after 10 are pretty high to be able to send. Um, and even if not, usually it's, then you're on auto, and this will be maybe a little bit of a boost to make them leak anyway. It's okay. I think they're useful at some point, but a lot of the time, if you're choosing this one, you know that you're trying to do that. You're sending on 12 or 13 or whatever, or the other choices aren't so great, so you take a little bit of plus income and possibly a sin to make them leak. All out assault. All out assault is hard. It gives you a good amount of Mythium, but it does take away your income, so I'm gonna put it in B. Again, I think this one is a better choice than some of these other ones in B, but I think it's a little bit of a higher risk, higher reward choice there for sure. Yeah, I think it's can be super good. I like to choose it, especially if I need to send, but it also does obviously put you a little bit behind on the income side as well. So again, it really depends on what is going on in the game and what you feel comfortable doing and what you think you can do with that, whether it's make them leak or you can survive the income loss for sure. Vampirism is hard because I am the biggest fan of Butcher. Butcher is definitely one of my favorite units in the game, best aura in the game, without a doubt. So Vampirism is super nice. If you don't have a Butcher, or even if you... I'm going to put it in A, just because there obviously is somebody that does have Vampirism. So lifesteal essentially, which is super nice being able to have that on essentially, what is that? 2, 4, 7, yeah, 7 units in total, and that's without a butcher. So I think obviously if you have a butcher, you don't need vampirism, but it's not always guaranteed, obviously. So vampirism is always a pretty solid choice to, lifesteal a group of 7 people that obviously, if that's a big good group of 7, that can be insanely good. Sacrifice I think is pretty shit. You're never really gonna need to do it. Um, Let me see. Creditor honestly is not that great unless you're like really watching, your money and like really need a little bit of a boost, but it's really not even that much, and it's only for a few waves, so it's not the greatest. This one, I forget its name, but it's basically, if you do leak, you get Mythium, which can be great, but then it's like you're purposefully leaking. So I think if you are running Fiesta, then this one is super nice for you. Kind of just do your best to pro leak the next few waves to get that, or the rest of the game, honestly, to get gold plus Mythium. That's a huge boost. But if you're not doing that, then like you obviously don't want to leak. So it's basically, if you're running Fiesta, great choice. I'd put it in A or S. If you're not, which more than likely you're not, I'm putting it in C because it's nice even if you accidentally leak or end up leaking to get something for it for sure. But I don't really think it's that useful to me. Let's see, Sorcerer. I think Sorcerer is B, mostly just because not everybody has some ability that's going to be doing damage, and honestly, even if they do, it's not a massive amount of damage that they are doing to where this little boost is like massively worth it. Obviously, again, of the three choices you get, sometimes Sorcerer is the best choice, especially again if you have a certain unit out there that would massively benefit from a boost, then sure. Savior is the bitchiest choice. Don't choose it unless you are a bitch. It just heals your king because it's getting fucked up, and it can easily turn the tide. I've lost plenty of games to where I'm absolutely destroying them, and then they all click Savior, and it's like I did nothing, and then they're ahead. Which, again, that's part of the game, but it's a bitch move to me. So. And then gathering Mythium, overwork. I'll put overwork in B. I think it's definitely circumstantial in certain scenarios to where it is really good. Other ones it's not the best. Again, if you are sending very soon or right after this, is complete to where it's then dying down, then it's great. If you're not, then just don't choose it. Because that extra Mythium boost is nice for sure, but dropping it down afterwards, making it slower, is a huge downfall as well. So you definitely have to be paying attention and figure out what it is you're doing and have that communication with your teammate or teammates for sure. Glacial Touch is basically just a Yuzora ability. I think it's okay, it's useful sometimes, but I mean it's not the biggest buff in the world. Again, I feel like there's better choices, but it is what it is. Protector, I think Protector's the same. I mean, a nice boost to one unit and healing some others. It's somewhat, similar to Vampirism. I would say it's actually pretty much, it's the same, but it does boost just one unit a lot more, so we could put Protector in A, but I don't feel like it's a big enough difference, honestly. And let's see, Hero for damage reduction and its friendly units as well, I think is an A. The percent is not massive, but can definitely make your team way tankier and be helpful for sure. So I think it's up there. I forget a lot of these names, but I know this is do damage to your king for some buff. I think that's shit. Unless you're in a great spot to do it, then maybe, if you're playing classic, then this is okay to do that. But if you're playing ranked, again, definitely talk to your fucking teammate about it. Paying some gold and then getting triple the amount again, is definitely circumstantial. You know, if you can do it, if you can deal with that for a few waves, then it's a nice buff. If you can't, then, you know, you kind of fucked yourself. So it's definitely can be useful for sure. And then I know this one, I think is this, I'm trying to think. I know this one is like, I think you get gold but lose income or something, so I'll give that one a B. I know this one is some kind of buff, I forget. I don't know these last two, I'm gonna leave those alone. Villain I think can be nice and useful to boost a unit for sure. God, I forget what this one does. I think it's damage boosting maybe. These two are very similar to what they do, so go based off that. But it's a good choice from what I remember. And I forget what the fuck this one is. This one is basically the same as sacrifice, I think, to where it's like you I think this one you get more for selling or something like that, but I mean it's never the choice, and I don't remember what these two very new ones do, but hopefully this helped you make some better choices of your team, what you want, what you need, what will be useful to you and yourself and your teammates in Legion TD2. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one.